This is exciting. I am going to tell you, I'm pumped up. This is exciting for me. This is an opportunity for us as facilities people to have the chance to get together. Now, we know all of our faculty get a chance. We can finance people get a chance to get together. Facilities, we've never done. And this is an idea that came to me very early on after I got here. And I'm going to give all my credit to Mr. Ward, Martindale. Raise your hand, Ward. Ward is I was letting you know, the Ward's like, we need to get together. We need to have this opportunity to talk. And I'm like, great idea, Ward, but I'm a little busy right now. But it was on the agenda very early on. This is something that we needed to do as a group for facilities. Okay? We've got a lot of expertise here in this room, and we need to get together. But before I get too far along, Jackie's given me the DUI already, probably not the first or last time this happened. She's got a few housekeeping things I think she wants to do, and I will step in and you'll get to listen to me talk for like an hour and a half. Is that right? No.
I think it's 2 hours you get to talk. No.
Don't believe everything here is all I'll say. So Jackie, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's as pumped as we are because we're pretty pumped and pretty excited. It's really nice. All of y'all are smiling, and we hope to keep those smiles on your faces throughout both days. I know we will. I will tell you that we have a pretty full, tight schedule, and we will be keeping everything on time as much as possible. So what schedule you have in the booklet, which I'll talk about in a moment, you know, we can stick to that pretty closely. I say that so that if you need to step out at any point and take a phone call, or you need to check in with your office, so we're very, very aware of kind of sticking on time for y'all. So the housekeeping things that we were going to talk about this morning, if you need to use a wireless service, we have wireless in this building, and I understand if you should be able, when you pull up your wireless availability, you can use UH Wireless. You don't need to log on for that. You don't have to have a CougarNet for that, so that should work for you. If you have any issues or problems with it, Chad Tomey, our Assistant Director of all things IT, I'm sure he'll be here both days. If you have any questions, you can ask him. We are making a video recording, so that's where you see the cameras behind you. And so that's so that we can have a record of all of the good information that is shared. And we will be sharing all of this, photos, the video, the slides, will be shared on the Facilities Forum website, which is on the facilities website, which is uh.edu/facilities. And then if you go to About Us, you will find the Facilities Forum website. So we're going to be sharing information there. You have some information in the booklet that you have in front of you, but the slides will be shared on the website. Restrooms, in case you don't know where they are, you'll go through this door and go to your right, and when you get past the stairs, go back to the left, and the ladies is first, and the gentlemen's is second, just a little bit down the hall on the right. Parking, everybody, if you have one of the parking passes that was given to you to park in the garage, I understand that you need to be careful having that next to your phone because it can get demagnetized by your phone. So just be aware of that. We also have a sharing resources table up here at the front that Ruth is next to. She is our sharing resources moderator. Thank you to everybody who brought something from their institutions. We're excited. And so we have some items up there, and I know we have a kind of a neat collection, so please take an opportunity to stop by there, pick something up. My assumption is the people that brought them probably would like to go home without them. So please, you feel free to take them. And then the booklet. I just wanted to mention, you have the booklet in front of you. It is our program booklet. You'll find a couple of really nice things in there, and I'm going to let David talk about Dr. Couture's letter, but there is a schedule. Each of the presenters has a section, and at the back of each of their sections, are some note pages. So we want to encourage you to take notes as you're listening. And as I said, the slides that they present for all of this will be shared along with the video. Unless anybody has any questions or if I need to cover anything, I'm going to turn it back over to David Oliver.
Thank you, Jackie. Questions before we get rolling here? Okay, no, you are not going to get to listen to me for an hour. I know you're disappointed. Maybe 15, 20 minutes. Before I get into the meat of it, I want to finish up a little bit about I think that when we get into this, in all seriousness, as it's all in American water, we can't be out. We'll talk a little bit about that later. You know, we have to be able to work together. I know a lot of folks in this room. There's a lot of folks I don't. And I suspect that if you look and you look at the table you're at, there should be faces there that you don't know. And that's on purpose. You got to figure it out. If you look at the tables you're at, we try to do our best to get folks to talk with people you don't know. Because all of you ain't folks in here, all over there, and you're not meeting anybody you don't know, and you're not getting established with them. So I know that puts everybody kind of on a little bit of a comfortable level to start with, but please, I think if you think about it for a moment, that makes perfect sense. So please work, stay with your colors. If you're a buttercup, I would aspire. If you're aspiring,
Giant spider.
a giant spider. It's nice to be a giant spider. For the next couple of days, okay? And I think that will help you get to meet people and get established those networks. And I know for a fact Jackie's got some excellent networking opportunities. There we go. And so you'll get the chance to meet your neighbor and sort of share what you do, who you are, and where you're from, and get out to establish those networks. Okay? Because that is one of those things we're here for, right? Why are we? Look at that. Why are we doing this? I mentioned before. I think there's 3 things to try to put in. Anybody want to help me out with this thing before I go to the next slide there? Things. I already told you one. Gave you a head start. Things. I'm sorry. Fred, yeah. Absolutely. Talk about that. Sharing knowledge. We've got how much experience is in this room? There's a lot of gray hair. I contribute to that. We've got a lot of experience in this room. And for us not to lean on each other, well, who else are we leaning on? Right? I don't really lean on you guys or any guys. We've got so much expertise in this room. For us to depend on them. One. So we have that knowledge. Let's take advantage of it. Let's use it. Let's build on it. Watch Victoria develop something that clearly has already got its legs or last year. I'm a big fan of facilities. One of my favorite things, my guys will tell you this, plagiarism is the great for a class. Facilities, that is the way to do it. Don't redevelop that way. We didn't get that way. There's no need. We've already, everything you're facing everybody else's face. So just reach out and ask a question. Now you're going to see somebody's already figured out the solution. So don't hesitate to do that. All right. We talked about 2. Are you in the 3rd?
The answer is right there.
I know it is. Be brave. I'll pick on somebody. By the way, if you don't know me, if you're going to try to send it back and turn it high, put it on the table, I will pick on you in a heart. Regina.
Provided you support.
Absolutely. I just talked about that. If you know something, share it. And we will support each other. I think that Hurricane Harvey is a perfect example of that. We, I think, did an excellent job of supporting each other there, but we have done that. If this had happened a year ago, would we have been able to do it? I can't tell you for sure we could have, but I guarantee you that I think there was an opportunity. But I guarantee that somebody at Victoria had known somebody at Clearwater and Houseworks, so there would have perhaps been some opportunities there. All right? And so providing legal support, we're all part of UH. They all have that system in there because I want to make sure everybody is represented. We are all part of UH. And And I think that for us, supporting each other is vital if we're going to be successful. So those are the three things. Anybody want to add anything else? I'm open. This, by the way, since this is our first one, everything, this is a blank slate. We can go any direction we want to go. And by the way, we will be doing an executive council and trying to set up an executive facilities council. We'll have senior leadership from all the components on that council. And that will be how we will vet strategic system level initiatives. If we need policies that need to be put in place, we've got some gaps here. I think most of us start to work them out. That, yeah, at least I had something there to help me guide me through whatever. Well, this is the opportunity, that council, when we do that, develop it, write it, get it in front of the chancellor, and it's not off. I know she is supportive of us, but I, I'll show you right here in a moment. If you look at the first page here, you book. Everybody's got a book. I did a wonderful job of putting them on together. Actually, it's the second page. First page. You will find the letter on page. For those of you that have an opportunity to work with her, she is a very dynamic individual. And this was something that, as I said, Warren started this conversation almost 3 years ago now. But I will tell you that she is very interested in making sure that we as a system are working together. She was very happy to do this. She was eager, and she wrote us a letter. Now, I hate people who stand up and read letters. Okay? I'm not going to read it. I am going to reference a couple parts of it. And this is one of the, I think this is a paragraph down. And you can see that it talks about some of the parts of it that the system has. And I think they're consistent with all of the components, right? Safe, well functioning, nurturing physical environments. That's all these guys, that's our goal. That's our mission. If you, as a group, understand that everything else becomes very easy. The decision-making process now is very easy. If you're just making decisions based on those types of criteria, you will never have it. You will never go wrong. Ultimately, now, maybe it's contract, it's not the contract, right? But ultimately, if you're doing it in the best interest of the university, these are the guiding principles you're living with, the facility, you will very, very good things. I'll tell you what. So those are things that she's expecting us to do at Facilities Club. Second thing I want to talk about before we finish that is something we've already sort of touched upon. The challenge here, I think, for us is we are growing. I think every small university is pushing to grow. Some places clearly are down the scale, going Red Hall there, and literally here, we are in the university system pushing to grow up. And as that happens, I think you can see there's other need for us to be working together. If we don't, that road can be kind of out of control, and we do not have everything in place. Now, we're going to talk about sharing resources here in a minute, later on in the day. And we're going to show you what we have in place that every one of the component universities can access. I think you'll be amazed what the reach. We have literally, I even said this the other day, it's like we have our own Bible. Literally, that is how many resources we have available that can happen. Everything from architects, engineers, commissioning services, ready services, for housing, you name it. Every one of these contracts is already there, it's already ready, it's already done. You don't have to go through that process, the purchases. All you need to do is reach out and say, I want to use this contract. And that contract is done. Think about it, how fast it's easy. And we will be doing that presentation later on in the day. We'll have a list of those contracts, this one's context and how you do that. So that being said, said, I'm gonna come to the conclusion, I told you I wasn't gonna talk that long, so, I go off with questions, I go, if there's any questions for me, you can see me later, so don't worry, you can tell me that. You know, you guys went, oh, jail went up there, I don't know.
I was saying,
Go ahead.
that's how you look. If you continue to have these networking sessions, will they move?
Absolutely. That is in the works. It will be, just so you guys know, everybody, on Friday, after this session ends, the first executive council meeting is scheduled. And that's what we do. What do we do next? Where do we go from here? How do we plan that next meeting? Where do we go be? And that will be something that I think is very valuable. I think moving around these campus, each component, to see if I can access it. So, that's it. Look, people play on the phone. Yes, sir.
Executive council members, how are they to be selected, or how are they?
I'm going to ask each component to provide that. I would suspect it will be probably the most senior person component in the facility, but they may want to set it up as more than one for each primary backup. But I would provide that. Know there's somebody playing on the phone. Let's see. Yes. How about you, Jerry? Jerry was some schedule there. Any questions?
No, sir, not yet.
How about you, Erica?
I'm excited to be here.
It's not anything yet?
I'm excited about this. This is a big one overdue, as I mentioned, and it sounds like we're moving into more of an operational excellence mindset. And so, yeah,
I promise one of the first ones to say about it. She looks like she's been on the phone, so Katie, by the way, is Katie Ranger. She is the official timekeeper. She's got the little things that she that's how we're going to keep us on schedule.
I told you we were going to stay on schedule as best we can.
Alright. I'm excited. Thank you for coming. I know this is a drive for the effort for many of you, so thank you for being here. And with that being said, I think, I told you we're going to listen to me for an hour. That being said, I think Jackie has the first networking event.
Yes, yes, yes. Jennifer?
Thank you very much. And I will be here, I think, all 2 days unless I get reprioritized by my boss for some reason or something great. And if that happens, then I'll do my best to even be back. Otherwise, thank you very much, and Jackie, I will turn it over to you.
Okay, all right. Okay, now the fun begins or continues with the Texas Roundup.
Okay, so we wanted to start off a little lighter this morning because it's kind of early and we wanted to wake y'all up. And this is part of our foundation for establishing the networks. We know that a lot of times we get in these rooms and we have to be all business all the time and talking about what the emergency is that's happening at the moment in your particular facility. But this morning we wanted to give an opportunity for y'all to be able to discuss some of the things about yourself. Now, one of the things that we know we all have in common is that we live in Texas. So we decided that was what we were going to base these networks on, is the fact that we all live in Texas, we all are currently working in Texas, and that's what we decided to do. So we have this time right now for you to talk at your table. Now, you probably have already done the first couple of ones because those are the easy ones. The ones where you say your name and the campus, the title that you have. Some are longer than others, I can tell you, because I'm the one that received all of the information when you registered. And the years that you've been with UH System. I know a couple of people have been at some of the different universities that we have, so you're encouraged to explain those things. I'm looking at Craig because I know that about Craig already. So the next one is, where were you born? I know there are individuals that were not born in Texas in this room. So that's one of the things that we have that's interesting about people. How long have you lived in Texas? Some people haven't lived here their whole life, obviously, if they were born here. Have you ever lived outside of Texas? Which I have not. What is your favorite city in Texas? Because we all have that favorite city, whether it's Houston, which is the most diverse, or whether it's somewhere else that we wish we would live one day, maybe in retirement. What is your favorite Texas landmark? So I don't know if you know any landmarks in Texas, but you are welcome to make that up if you would like. It could be your own special landmark. If there is a particular tree and that's your landmark, that's fine. Describe the best Texas vacation you have ever had. If you think about it, that could be a staycation at your house. You're still in Texas, it's fine. If you have another location where you've been to and you wanted to talk about it to tell other people because they really need to go, I still want to go to Grey Wolf Park. One day I'm going to get to go there, but haven't been yet. And then the last one is describe the best out-of-state vacation you have ever had. We know a lot of people have traveled elsewhere, out of the state or even out of the country. And so that's one of those pieces that I always love to talk to people. Now, if you have a Disney vacation, that's not on the list, but you're welcome to talk about it, and you're welcome to come and tell me about it at any point during these 2 days, because I am a Disney person. Now, this is your chance. It is up to your table whether or not you want to go in a circle and whether or not you start with number 1 and you do that, and then you go to number 2 and do that. Or if you want to start with number 1, the first person at the table, and they answer all of them. We are going to give that choice up to you. But for this next 30 minutes, this is what we're going to be doing. We are establishing the networks. You need to be listening to each other, because if we have time, we might be asking you, what have you learned about the other person, and are there any vacations that we all need to be taking? Does anyone have any questions about our current expectations? Okay. Y'all are welcome. Why don't y'all go to Craig's? Y'all can go to Craig's. And Jackie, if you want to go to Liliana's, it's up to you. I can go over there. Yeah. Yeah, they're going to go to Buttercup. Okay, 5 more minutes and then I'm gonna call on tables to see what vacations I need to take. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and I want y'all to share a couple of things that you may have learned about each other or some good vacation spots. So, let me pull out my map. Where's Indian paintbrush table?
Right here.
Okay,
What have you missed?
tell me what y'all learned. What'd you find out? What were some good pieces of vacation spots? Anything?
Vacation spot.
Did y'all get there?
Yeah.
Okay.
First of all, we're all Texans.
You're all Texans. Awesome. Born in Texas. Okay, cool.
Vacation spots. Thailand, Greece. Texas.
Oh, thank you. All right. Wine cup. Where's wine cup? Yes. Did y'all find out anything about each other? Rick? Krista? Nothing? I know Lawrence went on a vacation, so. And I heard y'all adding extra, like, what was your favorite restaurant? So, did y'all get a good restaurant that we need to try? Oh, Whataburger! Texas! That is Texas! Okay, Texas, Yellow Star. All right, Rick. Oh, all kids. Okay. Greece. San Antonio? Yeah, I think San Antonio is pretty. Okay. Large Buttercup. I know y'all are right here. What'd y'all find out?
This guy's traveled the world.
Craig, yeah.
This guy's our, he's from California. I'm from Texas, I'm born in
You're born.
Texas. You need to get out.
Where were you born? You were born in Texas.
Pasadena.
Woo! East Side. East Side. Oh, the Monument Inn. That is a good restaurant. The shrimp. Okay. Texas Lantana. Jackie, I know Jackie can share too. Okay, what'd y'all find out?
We are a very diverse group.
You are a diverse table, I agree.
We have people at this table that live almost all over the world.
Yes.
We have Liliana's from Romania. Al is from Pakistan. I am a native Houstonian. Jackie is a native Houstonian.
So 2 from Houston and 2 from outside of Texas.
Yes. Al has worked with the university system the longest, 28 years.
28 years.
Jackie, Liliana, and I all came here about the same time, 7-8 years ago. One of our favorite places is Turkey, Istanbul, Turkey.
Interesting.
I just like to eat turkey. I've never been there.
Thank you. Okay. GoldenEye Flocks. That's y'all, right? Okay. Purple Coneflower.
We're from, like others, pretty diverse. We're from everywhere. Two from Texas, one from Louisiana, one from China. So different aspects there. Alamo's pretty much a,
Alamo. That's what I was thinking too for landmark.
two of us really don't do vacation. College Station area, Austin, Tennessee, and Myrtle Beach.
College Station is pretty too.
I agree that, we said Louisiana is different. I just hope that Louisiana stays back.
Okay, Pink Evening Primrose.
Vacation spot, we really like to highlight Bora Bora.
Bora Bora. Okay. You been? Oh, Erica's Houstonian. Okay.
And we have a Navy band.
Navy.
It's not up there.
Yeah, that's good information. Yes. In the facilities worlds, yes.
Tim, he's doing the university
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Blue Bonnet.
So, three of us are from Texas, and one is from Connecticut, and the second from Mississippi. A lot of us like the state parks,
Oh, nice. State Parks.
and, we see the lakes in Texas, our favorite cities. Some of us mentioned Corpus, Dallas, and what else? Oh, and then a vacation out of Texas, Belize, and Disney too. Landmark, oh, and yes, it's also Navy.
Navy, yeah.
And, Miss Pam, she's been the longest with U of H, over 26.
Nice. She stepped out. Thank you. Okay, Antelope Horns. Go ahead, Jay.
Steve is from Ohio, Rupert from Bahamas, and Teresa is a native Houstonian, and only one native.
Only native Houstonian. Nice.
So,
Favorite vacations, Hawaii, Maui, Bronco, Paris,
Alaska.
Alaska. Pretty interesting.
Hawaii's on my list one day. Four Nerve Daisy.
We're right here. I think this is a mistake. Because this is actually four people with a lot of nerve. And Daisy is the wow.
It's just Daisy, yeah. Okay.
You were not this, but we were all born in Vietnam. Our favorite Texas landmark was the dead armadillo. Between Peter and Martha and Big Ben, and that's a serious destination. So we're a very, one group and diverse, except for being born in the same place. We are, our title, we've expanded the title now so that all four of us will be the University Architects.
Oh, nice. You're just gonna all be together. You've established a new network for the architect position. Okay, giant spider warts.
Okay, well, as far as, home states, we have Ohio, California, and Kansas.
Wow.
In terms of living in Texas, we and a half, 9 years, I think. 4 years, not even count, because I think it was the answer. We've all lived outside of Texas, and landmarks range from the Alamo to Battleship, Texas. Surprised me.
Battleship, yeah.
And Corpus and South Padre Island were probably the best in Texas vacations. And outside of the state, actually there's several. We spent a lot of time talking about Disneyland during that time.
I might have stepped over there. Okay, India, yeah. Hawaii, yeah. Indian blanket.
Right here. So we have pretty diverse group, we have one in Texas, Ohio, New Jersey, and Oklahoma. I'm of course from India. Sharon worked for 48 years for UH. 22, over 20 years.
Over 20, yeah, just.
Vacation spot was
I would say like the Big Bend area, and I guess,
beach.
and the beach.
Corpus.
I guess, out of country vacations, we had said, Ecuador or
Switzerland.
Switzerland, awesome. Who went to Switzerland? All right.
I'll go again.
Okay, I'll go. Okay, pray verbena. International table, okay.
They're all looking at us. And we're down.
Yep.
It's amazing how we're from all over the world and we have so much in common. So we found that we're all lovely with Hawaii. There's, and we're all really loving up. Yeah, so that's very fun. And we're all very excited to be here.
Oh, wonderful. So Juju basically said what we were trying to say is that we're trying to find all the commonalities between each other and we're trying to establish these networks. A lot of times you may not remember someone as well. I am a person who, if they tell me about their kids, I will remember them because I want to know, I want to talk to other moms and dads about how they're doing with their kids. But again, with the Disney vacations, it's another piece that I enjoy talking to other people about, and that's a commonality. So we just wanted you to discover some things that you have in common so that you can establish that groundwork for the networks that we are establishing this time. And we are ready to move on. So thank you for participating in our Texas Roundup.
Thank you. And we didn't really ever introduce, that is Jennifer Ray. She's the program manager too in our customer service department or office. And she and I work closely on things like this, communications, outages, you name it. If it's a communications, we try to make sure they keep moving along. So thank you, Jennifer, for doing all of that. It was a lot of fun, and I learned some things about people I've worked with for quite some time. I also am really amazed. So I'm a native Texan. Some of these flowers I've never heard of. So I need to brush up, obviously, on what these flowers are. And I think I might have been all my life calling some flower something else. So now I know the correct names, and what a great state, what a diverse state we have. So we have just a few minutes before we start the next presentation. And so if you want to grab some coffee or you need to step out for just a moment, but we will start promptly at 11 o'clock, which is about 4 minutes. Do you want to come on?
We know that works. Well, that's where we started. It could be getting but you know, it's important. So you didn't see any problem with that? It's very good. Yeah. So that's you up there.
It's actually over on the wall.
Yeah, we have two. So if I don't know if because Patrick's presenting as well, or
Yeah,
just you?
we're
Okay.
both there, yeah.
So we have two if he wants.
But his voice carries, mine doesn't as much.
So if you want to, I don't know which you prefer. If you want to use the wireless,
I don't
and then-
really want to stand here. I like to move around
Yeah.
a little bit.
So why don't you use? Is that one's working?
Yes, that one's working. And like I said, we have another if you want it, or if you want to.
Probably simpler if I just step to the. Don't you think?
Yeah. Okay.
So we don't have two roaming.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that way, and then you can use this, of course, and I don't know if you want to, like, take it with you to, I don't know how far distant, I don't know how far you can get from here to make this work.
Well, let Patrick,
Okay, so
he can do it.
you'll be the.
So I can either use the arrows or
yes,
this,
uh-huh.
and this is a.
Does it
Oh,
have a?
yeah, it's on. You can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to introduce you just using some of the information out of y'all's bios.
Okay.
So, and all of your slides will be, we thought we could get them in the book, but I'm glad we didn't.
Oh,
Because
of
then we made the decision that we'll have them on our website, so that way people can, look at them without having to have them just in paper.
So, and they're going to dim the lights.
I was going to say they're bright. They are going to dim them? Okay.
Leave the back row.
Okay. So we're going to start here in just a minute. Hello everyone, can we start heading back to our tables and we'll get started with the next presentation? Okay, let's go ahead and start our next presentation, please. I would like to take the opportunity to thank Dean Oliver and Patrick Peters for joining us today. They are going to be talking about master planning. Dean Oliver, Patricia Oliver, she became the Dean of the Gerald D. Hines College of Architecture and Design at the University of Houston in January 2010. And I am, yes, just reading from the bios that we have provided for you. She's also served as Senior Vice President of Educational Planning and Architecture at Art Center College of Design before she moved to Houston, and then prior to that, Associate Dean at the College of Environmental Design at California State Polytechnic, University, Pomona. Joining her today is Patrick Peters. He is an architect and professor. He is an architect and professor of architecture at the University of Houston, Gerald D. Hines College of Architecture and Design. And in addition, he directs the U of H Graduate Design Build Studio, which is a community engagement initiative with national and international awards and a wide array of publications. So let's put our hands together and say welcome to Dean Oliver and Ms. Patrick Peters.
So, Patrick, can you hear me? Yes. I just want to make sure this is working. He is going to be there, and I like to move around. So I can't somehow talk. I don't think unless I'm moving somehow. So anyway, we're going to do a tag team presentation for you. We're going to cover the master plan for this campus primarily, but we're also going to show you some work we've been doing at UH Clear Lake and at UH Downtown, and UH Sugar Land, and Katy, so that you sort of get some idea about the planning process for all the campuses and how they're kind of linked together in a way, each with their own separate personality, each with their own separate conditions and stresses and goals and so on. But we really want to begin to talk about the master planning process and why it matters. It's not just an exercise that we do and then leave it on the shelf. We like to think of it as a dynamic document, something that I hope will become a kind of Bible for everybody here, that you stick to it, that you reinforce it, that you support it, and that you help us keep it alive. Okay? So we set some goals for us. These are goals similar to for all campuses really, but stewardship of the physical setting and the legacy of, in this case, the first 100 years. You know, in 2027 we'll be celebrating our centennial. So when we got this project, we were going to do a 3-year master planning effort in 2020, and we said, well, okay, we'll go to 2020, but really we've got our eyes set on 2027 because that'll be here before you know it. The growth targets linked to the Centennial Aspirations support a destination campus. And now, as you all know, in the years, most of you, from what I was hearing, have been here through this incredible transition. I came here in 2010, and it was already starting. The reason I came here was because Renewed Couture was on this kind of a trajectory. And we've definitely kept that trajectory going. So it's an exciting time to be at the University of Houston and watch it change from a commuter campus to, in fact, a destination campus, and that's happening. For gateways, one of the things that we're looking at and we're asked to look at is this campus has
23.
23 entrances into it. It's really hard to say that the main entrance is, X any place around campus. But with that many entrances, with that kind of velocity, we really felt like there was still a need to announce your arrival on the campus, that you knew when you were on the campus. So there are a few strategies we've employed to reinforce that concept. But one of them is that we're developing these gateways. We'll be doing this over the next couple of years. University Drive obviously is the main entrance. We'll be focusing on that. We'll show you those as we proceed with this presentation. But it's a way of marking the campus and sort of making the environment of the campus significant from the outside. Pathways is really, really important here. The pathway system was established when the campus was first built. It got violated a couple of times along the way. But basically, the idea is to link the spaces that we do value with the spaces that are green, the spaces that are where people could have potential for gathering, and through that pathway system to reinforce the connections. You've been talking about networking. That's what's important on the campus as well. We want people to run into each other. We want people to talk to each other. We want people to collaborate. And they won't do that if they're isolated. You need to be able to string these connections together and to protect those pathways and give the campus life, the pedestrian life of the campus, to reinforce that with the plan that we do. So if you create a plan and then be going and violate it by putting the building right smack in the middle of one of the major pedestrian pathways. So that's one of the things that we're trying to do. So I'll let you talk this about.
So, in the process of assessing what the next step was for the University of Houston, it was important to figure out where we were. And the most important place where we were is at the center of the Hare and Hare plan, which was a noble beginning for the University of Houston. The plan, you see the original 110 acres on the left part of the slide, which is what we might think of as the old part of campus, the center part of campus. But also, we have a more recent master plan as of note, which is the 2006 framework plan by Cooper Robertson. So we evaluated those documents and also several master plans in between to understand what were some of the principles that were enduring from the very beginning and where some of those principles have been eroded through subsequent master plans. And you know, I think by now that you're familiar with the 8 districts of the university that was part of the wayfinding system that we folded into the master planning process. And another evaluation process was to understand what the forestry environment was in the beginning of the campus and what it has become. The overlay on the left shows that original 110 acres, and the degree to which the original, what we now call the urban forest canopy of the campus has been eroded over time through building, through drought, through parking, surface parking construction, and other pathways. And so, as we understand that the university's benefit, the university community benefits greatly from the tree canopy, reestablishing that tree canopy in an intentional way aligned with our pathways is a fundamental aspect of our proposal. You might be surprised, this shocked me when I found this image, that we had a commitment to the outdoor spaces of the campus, in this case the most important outdoor space, from the very beginning. This, as you probably know, the campus was developed in the early 30s, at a time of economic hardship around the country, and it was had a modest beginning, but a noble plan. The first step to establish the campus was to develop the outdoor space. This is the reflecting pool, which was built before the adjacent building started construction. And you may know it from these historic images. You probably also know that our current fountain, the Cullen Family Plaza fountain, occupies the space of the original reflecting pool. It was shaped primarily by the three early buildings, Science and Roy G. Cullen Memorial Hall, which are the first two buildings, and then Ezekiel W. Cullen as the head building at the end. Those three buildings were all from the early period with a similar architectural vocabulary, shaped that important outdoor space. And you can see up in the top some of the celebrations. Graduation typically took place outdoors on either side of the Econ building. So these are things we want to remind ourselves of because it's a very noble heritage that we want to build on. It's often described by students, faculty, staff, and visitors that the distances at the University of Houston for pedestrians are too far to walk, and we developed an understanding of the real distance based on comparing it to other universities in our similar climate. Our analysis yielded the fact that the assessment that it's really not the actual distance, it's perception of the distance, because the walks tend to be disjointed or not clearly laid out and organized. If we can improve the quality of those walks, the pedestrian path quality and the pedestrian experience quality, the distances themselves will be perceived to be very short, which is, I think, closer to reality. This circle indicates the radius of 5-minute walk distance on those compared to campuses.
So, in our master planning effort, you'll see variations on this plan, but basically we're looking at the entire campus. The loop road is the gray band that goes around, and the red buildings are the buildings that are planned and proposed. The red outline is for future buildings, and you see the green space and how they're linked. So it's a kind of pedestrian grid. It's really a grid. It's not that rigid, but basically you see the intention of the cross paths and the connection of the green spaces. In looking at that, one of the things, again, we talked about, the 23 entrances and the edge conditions of the campus. One of the things that we're really keen on is to try to reinforce that edge by, again, planting trees. Trees are not just nice that we like trees, we like trees. David Oliver, where he always gives me grief about this, we call it temperature treatment. So we harp on this all the time. But there's so many benefits from adding the trees. Not only does it help our shade condition as we're walking from here to there with a tree or without a tree. It's a huge difference when it's 100 degrees outside. But the trees also provide other ecological advantages to the campus. So there's a lot of reasons to respect the original urban forest that was here and try to reinforce it. So we're looking to keep developing that path around the edge of the campus and conditions, and we'll show in a minute the places where we've developed a 1, 2, and 3 mile loop. So the idea eventually is that you'd be able to run, the perimeter if you wanted to, or bike, or whatever you do, to sort of keep that path active and the edge predominant.
So, as we all have been through, most of us have been through at least the experience of Hurricane Harvey in Houston and at the University of Houston. We know that stormwater is a part of our lives. As Houston residents and as an institution that occupies a setting along a bayou or along a river, the opportunities exist around the university to invest in stormwater detention in various ways. Some of those might be basins for detention that can also serve other purposes as ecological and recreational assets. There's also the possibility that in our pathways themselves can be incrementally improving our stormwater retention needs or assets by strategies for rain gardens and wet swales that can also enhance the beautification of the campus. And then there are places around the campus where built assets could be potentially converted or redeveloped as stormwater retention assets. A key part of this observation is that nature was here first and nature always wins. So if we notice that there's a water course in an aerial photograph that cuts through the arts district in the north, it happens to coincide with all of the buildings and parking lots that we've had foundation problems in repeatedly. Perhaps those two things are related. If the flood plain expands to include so much of the border of the Grays Bayou, perhaps those are areas that we should consider long-term to be redeveloped as green buffers. And they happen to be where we have large assets of urban forest, existing urban forest.
So the population, as you know, at the University of Houston has been growing consistently, and we're now up to almost 45,000 plus students. We keep this growth at 2.5% per year by 2027. I think it's the next slide. Yes, by 2027 we'll be at almost 47,000, and then by 2020 we'll be at 47,000. By 2027, I'll be gone. Okay, so we're looking at buildings that have, I told you I came here because of Manu and she was doing this, campus is doing this, and the campus is really doing this because here it is. This is what has been built since she arrived. So this is what you've been doing on this side, almost doubling the physical presence of this campus. That's pretty extraordinary in my mind. And this is the next buildings that are on their way or have been at least discussed as being future potential building sites.
So a big part of making the campus a place that can be a destination for people who have business, such as students and employees, staff, and faculty, but also people who might want to come and visit and spend some hours. A big part of the equation is that we need to make our outdoor spaces even more inviting and even more commodious to allow people to exchange ideas. That means that recognizing those spaces we already have that we can improve upon is important, and those are highlighted by some of the green circles, but we also have identified at least one outdoor space of significance in each district that could be developed. And those, some of those actually are opportunities for philanthropy. So working with our advancement team, these are places where a potential donor could choose to invest in the University of Houston, not only including physical buildings, but outdoor spaces as well. And food, as we're about to find out, is an essential part of that. Food is the kind of lubricant for social exchange and creative ideas.
One of the things that's already happening, I'm sure you're aware of it, is right out in front of my building. We're building this monster parking garage, and it's kind of disrupted life over there significantly. Can't wait till school starts. So one of the things we're doing is pushing all the garage, all the parking to the perimeters and returning that paved area to part of the sort of pedestrian experience. And I think that's a really big move. So yeah, parking garage 5 is happening now, and 6, 7 right on the heels of it. So this will be happening faster than you can imagine. And these buildings, again, proposed around the edges here, called vegetation replacement, so on and so forth. Those are where new projects will be coming in where parking existed.
So these are the 3 pathways that some of you may have heard about or even worked on so far. They haven't been physically set on the ground. Their first evidence will probably be in the form of marker medallions and some modest signage. But the University of Houston is engaged in a partnership for Healthy America that requires the setting out of a prescribed 1-mile path, walking path, and a 2-mile path. So in this diagram, the 1-mile path is the easiest to see. It's the sort of Coke bottle-looking figure that runs through what is essentially the heart of the original campus. And the purple line to the south is the beginning of the 2-mile path, which essentially runs around circumscribes the inner campus. And then there's also a 3-mile path that would be already in use by many of you as who are avid runners, but we hope to improve upon that and would take you around the perimeter of the campus where we hope to increase the tree cover.
So we talked about the gateways. There are the 4 that we've identified as sort of amongst the most important entrances. Obviously, the first one is entering into what we call the Centennial Gateway, future name, now University Drive, and the other one next to it. Fairly close to that is the Health Gateway. It's actually a really undeveloped intersection right now, where there's the train and the bus and the pedestrians and the cars and all of it going together. There's also where health resides, and as we build this medical college, it's a pretty important future aspect of the campus. So introducing that medical direction, that health direction to the community is an important step, and it's where all the arteries come together. The other one, obviously, athletics, another major thing. We'd like to connect athletics for those days when we have, home games and so on. And then the arts district, which is up in the north part of campus, much neglected also, but important and developing and growing and adding buildings to that area, starting with this new garage. So there's huge opportunities there, and there are major connections to freeways and all that.
One of the aspects of the work that we do, we think, is that it's very practical, and it has a strong anchor in opportunities. This is the illustration of an opportunity that's come our way, the university's way, in the form of a shared use path through Metro's contingency funds. That's going to allow us in one project to enhance some of the areas of our perimeter of the campus that we had already planned on. Another project that's coming down the pipe is down the road is Cullen Boulevard redevelopment, which is being provided through Precinct 1, City of Houston, and Harris County. So these are things that we can coordinate with, and hopefully in the process allow us to realize our larger vision.
So talking about the gateways, again, one of the things that's happening is that this is the health area. So, we built already Health 1 and 2, and there's a proposal for Health 3, which is that building there, but there are also 3 other sites that we're looking at, so we don't know where it's going to land. But were it to land there is that face to the community. And then there's a new dormitory area that's being built, replacing the towers, and also a possibility of residence, housing for residents of the medical center. So the doctors, future doctors, would be living there. That gives that intersection an incredible new vitality and importance to the campus, and that's why we think it should be one of the gateways. We'd like to mark the intersection, improve the lighting, increase the trees. We've already worked on making that turn there safer. The Metro is already taking care of that. They're improving the street, Calhoun. So, we're on our way a little bit. But when we build these buildings, we have high hopes that those buildings that are at the gateway will be slightly higher standard, that we will actually provide the campus with some landmarks, so that when you enter the campus, you pass by something that gets your attention, and you realize that you've entered into, this amazing University of Houston. One of the things that has been proposed, just a rendering of it, is that the University Arts, the public art program is expanding and growing, and one of the things they're thinking about is doing a kind of destination piece, if you would, similar to what Rice Campus has with James Turrell. So somehow bringing something to the campus that might be something that outsiders can come to, and that would enhance that arts gateway that we're talking about. Another gateway area is obviously by the stadium. So we're talking about creating Centennial Plaza up there. That's what that, I can't point at it.
There it is.
Can you point at it?
Yeah, there it
There
is.
you go. That's Centennial Plaza. Right down the middle of that is Parish Hall.
I'm sure you're.
It's still there, we have a point there.
Give me the money.
It's got a big X on it, just so you know. It's gone. My mind, it might as well already be gone. Oh, man, if I could take it down brick by brick, I'd do it.
Got it back,
Myself, personally. Anyway, we'd like to then create Centennial Plaza, so you can walk from the plaza over to the stadium. So there's a big rallying place, for students, and that was the original intent, that first plaza that was built. So, where are you going to put 45,000 students? I'd like to see you squeeze it in. Anyway, so there is a site for a new education building to replace Parish Hall, and potential for the Alumni Association is talking about building another alumni building, different one, that would be where to go. So that would frame that gateway, which connects the rest of the campus to the athletics area. And this is sort of where we are now. This is our campus now. Overview. I don't want to talk about
Okay.
it. Let's go.
Okay.
We got too many, we have too many other days. As we build out this potential detention site, one of the things we're going to be doing in the next phase is look at a resilience plan for this campus. I think in doing this, we want to try to build, while we're doing all this construction and building and moving forward, that we can actually come up with a campus plan that allows us to avoid as much as possible flooding conditions that are going to keep happening, whether we want them to or not. That would be in a better shape, in a better place to deal with the realities of living in a hurricane environment. There's Centennial Campus 2020. Put it in your head, because it's going to be there. You'll be able to be there in it, and before long. And you can come and help me tear down Parish Hall.
X, right there.
Make it happen. Yeah, we get it. Great. Right. Oh, that's better. So this is the campus continuing to grow. It's really kind of impressive. When you look at it and think, wow, we've built all of this already. We've almost doubled the campus.
So we hope that we can have another celebration in a little over 9 years in our new Centennial Plaza, celebrating our most recent graduates, and remember where we started and how we've taken this journey together.
So we're going to run through quickly a couple of the other campuses, some of the things that we've been doing on those campuses. We started on UH Sugar Land. This is it. This monster thing with a couple of buildings sitting right smack in the middle. With no particular plan for how growth was going to happen. So we were faced with some interesting conditions because there are permanent ditches there, there and there. And then there's this giant city festival site, which is on one perimeter in this end. And then, of course, this major artery, transportation artery there. So there's some things to pay attention to. We tried, we can't escape the trenches that are there. The one going north is actually something that we could, instead of being an open trench, we can cover it and build around it or up to it. We can plant or we can put roads over it because we'll bury that culvert that's there. But the other two aren't going anywhere. So we started to look at the campus, trying to pretend that the buildings that were there in the center weren't the defining elements, because the ambitions of the University of University of Houston-Sugar Land was that it become a private-public partnership campus, and that would require that companies would actually build on the campus so that you could do collaborative research. In order for that to happen, it was really important that the destination for those partners that they would have visibility from the road, that you'd be able to see who was there and who was partnering with the universities. That changed the emphasis of where the main thrust of the campus was heading. And also we have this dream that we can also, from the beginning, instead of having to try to come back later and put trees back in, we did actually begin to create these sort of pathways, tree-lined streets, nice, beautiful, shaded areas where you could actually walk between buildings. So we're starting very small, first steps that we're starting. This is the campus in the full build-out, way beyond my lifetime, that's all I'm going to say.
There's the first.
And that's the very first building we're starting with. It's just about finished. Getting there. You sort of see the ambitions. There's a lot of natural conditions that are on that campus that are really worth preserving because you can actually use them as study areas as well as campus enhancements.
And then there's the.
And that's the ultimate district. So we have industry partners along that hard edge, the academic core, which has already been started with the existing buildings, and then future growth as the campus develops.
Katie.
Katie, you guys, Katie. How many have been out to Katie? Few people have. Yeah, so this is what we were given. It's a pancake. It really is flat as a pancake. There is nothing. I mean, there was nothing out there. Nothing. No road, nothing. So there is a road now going through the middle. Right through the middle there. But that was it. And so it's like, okay, let's make a campus. We can start with. How did we do that? It was kind of interesting because we knew the first building that we were going to build did not have the kind of budget to make it like the building, like the main building of the campus. Where it was going to be featured and a landmark and amazing and all that kind of thing. We just didn't have a budget. So rather than saying, okay, we're going to put the first building, in a major spot, where would you put a building if you were starting a campus right now? And that was it. Where would you put it? Exactly. You can see the red line. So obviously we don't want to come in. So here's there are two different utility districts. It's the only defining element in the whole campus site. Two districts. So we decided not to fight that battle. We certainly are going to put the first building strata in two districts. So that became something to work with. And we weren't going to put the first building. Everyone said, well, why don't you put it right here? Right in the center. Yeah, right there. because, you know, a road is coming across and the other one's coming in, it's logical, you're right, we walk. And again, it's because the first building didn't have a budget to be that kind of anchor, really, really important piece of architecture. So it's a very important piece, it's still the first piece, it's not the main piece, but it begins to put this path. We knew that we had to have a road coming in, but it turns out most of the traffic right now comes from that north direction. This, putting the building there, makes the first introduction of a road into the pathway. And you know that's my phone, I know, sorry. Just ignore it. Anyway, that's where it's supposed to start. We can just go through these really
Okay.
rapidly. You can sort of see the plan for how the campus would develop. Ultimately.
In a few years.
Yeah. And, you talked.
Okay. Yeah. So we are also working and have been engaged by the University of Houston Downtown, a number of phases of master planning. When we began, there were many things that they had aspirations for, and it's satisfying to see so many of those things realized, including the acquisition of 17 acres along White Oak Bayou, which allowed for the construction of the new STEM building, which is shown in this drawing here. And there are subsequent buildings that would be associated with that building, the most important aspect of which is the possibility that we could create an outdoor plaza for the students to gather on the north side of the White Oak Bayou. We're also working to develop with them a density in the campus, because it was effectively a string of pearls when we began, and things are starting to have concentration, which is very helpful. So this is an overview, and as you know, things don't stay static in Houston. One of the things you may know about is the new freeway project that's going to allow I-10 to be removed, but it's going to be replaced to the north. So this is an image of that with an illustration in the next slide of what that becomes. And so the freeway, which has been forever the divider along with the bayou between the north and south banks, now will become a frame. That's going to be a game changer. And this is one proposal, one image for how that plaza for student gathering could occur, with an incredible view of the downtown high-rise district. And so for another process that we are working on actively is work with the University of Houston Clear Lake and the community there to develop new wayfinding for the campus. As we have developed wayfinding here at the University of Houston, we start with an understanding of what the shortcomings or what are the challenges of the existing situation, and from that, and our interaction working with the stakeholder group, developed a proposal, or actually in this case a set of proposals for wayfinding family, assigned family, and then with input from the community, we narrowed down to the final wayfinding family. A key aspect of that in this case is to develop it in a compatible way with the very beautiful natural landscape of the Clear Lake campus. So the signage is intended to be not just something to help you find your way, but actually to add the additional level of beauty to that natural setting. That we have to then map all of the existing signage, and the next phase will include developing all the final messaging as well. This is an example of what that signage would look like. So we hope to ask you to come visit in the short term with signage.
That's it.
Questions?
We have time for questions.
Juju has one back there. Juju?
next day information on all of the university language?
So first I should point out, believe it or not, this was heavily edited down from what we have been doing. May not be able to try. But we have actually done a focus study, as you know, looking at Jason and the stakeholder group at the ERP, to develop a master plan just looking at ERP issues. But I think what our goal is that there is very subtle differentiation rather than significant difference between ERP and the University of Houston. A missing link that's soon going to be filled is the pathway from ERP to bike pathway and park pathway from ERP to the main campus. People will be shocked how quickly you can move from one to the other once that. And it's the top red button.
That one?
Yeah. So that pathway through the Tiger Trail will help us suture the two land holdings together. We think the strategy that we apply to how we care for the urban forest and the ERP property should be a model and should be consistent with how we apply the strategy for the urban forest edges in the main land holdings of the campus and the McGregor tract. Those green resources along the bayou edge ought to be one language throughout. So those two things I think are key. And even though we don't have the same architectural language in the buildings at ERP as we have largely on the main campus, we do have the same architectural firm at work in both places. And they're a substantial architectural firm. And I think that our respect for that architectural language and heritage of the buildings ought to be consistent on both places. And the public art, I neglected to say also, public art strategy should be consistent. Is that?
The master plan, you showed the several urban forest decisions. How is the urban forest decision defined and thinking about Harris County, the decision is like 0.55 or something like that, acre feet?
Right, per acre.
If you do an urban forest decision, is there some multiplier that you have twice as much in a forest type environment that's considered a decision?
The way I would respond in a direct way is it's really a way of guarding it from development. That by thinking of the urban forest as something that we don't want to build over or on.
But it's not part of the teaching in your formula.
The difference is that if you're doing detention as a basin, then you may be losing the urban forest. But there's other ways to use it where the tree cover is actually maintained. Working around the trees, developing the landscape to be more absorptive. But it starts out being absorptive because it's forest and it's forest pervious material. Does that make sense? In other words, it's not to convert an urban forest to an empty base or to a ball base.
But it's not included as part of your calculation. It's just went to the water. Flood district, that take that and use it as part of your required detention.
We have, the direct answer is that those areas would have to be modified for them to be used that way. But that would be the expectation. In other words, they haven't been designed to be included in the calculation at this point. We're really talking about allocating for that purpose. Second?
Jeff?
So I see a lot of great future construction on campus. As the facilities operations guy, I kind of look at, put thought into what that means to our water, wastewater, power requirements to support that.
Yeah, so that's actually one of the reasons we're interested in doing this resilience. Because of uses his water for irrigation, one that actually takes into account what is happening in the roof, part of the edges, and return those impervious surfaces to pervious surfaces, so on and so forth, so we can capture the advantages of roofs that were made. So it does include, it's connected to the infrastructure plan, the utility plan, all of those things that generate power in the future. There's a generator plant that we're looking at, placement somewhere. So as all of those things sort of happen to accommodate growth, we have to pay attention to infrastructure that's been here a long time.
Just like.
Moving towards 100 years, centennial celebration of the infrastructure. You know, so all of that combined, so it's going to take a study. We're trying to do it so we can actually come up with a plan that makes some economic sense, you know, because it's a big thing.
There's a lot of opportunity.
There's a lot of opportunity there. Anything else?
Well, I wanted to take advantage of one of our key elements of today, shared knowledge. And you may already be aware of this, but we have just completed a tree inventory of the campus that has all the diversity of the tree species, the diameters, the shapes, and stuff like that, that y'all can take advantage of.
And the sacred tree over on the David loves so much.
Sacred tree.
Yeah, the fallen, mesquite. He doesn't respect that tree.
I was raised in North Texas. I had to pull all the mesquite thorns out of my
Oldest
eye.
ones on campus, and it's protected in, what do they call it?
It's a state heritage tree, I think.
Yeah.
I call it barbecue
Can't
wood.
touch the mesquite.
Smoke tree.
But he used to burn it, you know, in barbecue.
It's really good,
He
too.
has no respect for mesquite tree at all. But there it is, but it's protected. So, hands up.
And we would like to get a copy because I don't know what the form of that survey is, but we haven't seen a final outcome.
Yeah, CAD and.
Yeah, I don't think we got the final yet. We got all that.
No, the final is available.
Does that include the one they just tore down in front of my house?
I'm already editing, it's being edited as we speak, because I have one that I'm going to take care of today.
It's got one less, I know. Perfect. Any other questions?
How do you balance the need for internal communal space with external communal space? Because based on our previous experiences with our facilities, there's a high demand for internal communal space where, and high demand for power and data. And that seems like it may be a generational thing, because we get work orders like this, so we need power here, data. And that seems to be the area students converge, such as student center and library, and those things, even the rec center.
Yeah, I think, again, talking about the infrastructure issue, in our own building, we look at that every couple of years, since there's been a way to bring intelligence into the building, because it was built in 85. So just not soon enough to take advantage of what's going on. And it's a very difficult building because it's 16-foot high ceilings, and you're not going to just come in and start, putting in plugs. It doesn't work quite that way in that building. So, we love the building, but we have the issues of keeping up with what's going on in technology. So I think that's part of this effort, is to figure out what the demands are in that infrastructure on the electrical grid, and bringing, keeping up with the technology needs. It's just part of it.
I was going to add, Katy campus is an example of starting construction now. No big Wi-Fi coverage of the front door plaza and courtyard that's potentially designed that you
exterior buildings. And so while they're sitting there waiting for the bus, they plug in outside, under a covered area, so that while they're waiting, they can get something on maybe touch their phone or whatever it happens to be. That isn't going to go away. Inside the entrance.
So like the student center is a big, large gathering internal space. And it seems to be focused more along the university corridor. In the master plan, is it incorporated, like the fine arts district, and bounce it out of our campus? Or should it be more towards the student housing area? I mean, these communal, large communal, a lot of people want to be inside for the most part. And yes, there are a lot of outdoor gathering areas, but as far as large internal gathering areas, and their placement within the university master plan.
So if we go back to this district, we're trying to look at each district and make sure that each district has basically all the elements that are looking connected. So it isn't going to be like
So what's the footprint of sustainability LEED certification? I can see that in the system we're doing new construction. I'm not seeing O&M. I mean, Energy Star, is there an idea relative to that O&M concept?
well, we have an idea, but it's not necessarily shared by everybody yet.
You look at me.
It would be good to investigate the advantages of moving to a LEED system. I know that we've done it in principle without actually doing it actually. Because, LEED, you can buy points. The system always, but more than just to say we're meeting the standards of LEED, rather than actually doing it, it's nice to be able to say you're certified. It just gives you a goal. So I know that our campus architect is interested in this as well.
Second question is, in private, it buys value for real estate. Does it buy us value? Does it increase the value of our real estate?
I would say yes. Yeah, because, you're getting a building that's going to actually serve you better over the life of that building. To me, that's what we need right there.
It also puts our buildings in alignment with the students we serve and large part and much of the faculty research is going on. There was last year more than $50 million in research grants. One, to investigate issues of sustainability, not just environmental, but also social and other aspects of sustainability. So there is that potential to align with the student interests, align with the research that's going on, and provide the accountability of the certification that is similar to when you issue a revenue bond. An independent credit agency rates that bond and says, yes, this is a good investment. We design our buildings with these principles. We don't, as Tricia said, we don't take that next step of auditing them, and certifying that we need. We've done what we said. Going to do.
Yeah, and that associates with the culture of O&M. Development design is 5%, and when we look at life cycle, it's 95%. That's O&M. And so where is that value?
I'm not going to argue with that. I agree that sustainability is
Actually, I'd like to add a couple things. I know the sustainability question, we could spend 2 days on that alone. Our design guidelines for all these new buildings are all rated at silver LED That's correct, Krista, we're looking at Krista. So, even though we don't necessarily pursue it, because of the interest cost of it, the buildings are designed to build to that level of sustainability, which is, I think, a very high level. Now, I think we are pursuing it on the ST buildings, we are going to go actually get the lead. Downtown would have their first certified lead building, so we are doing that at the platinum level. It was a higher level, I don't recall now. I'm sorry?
I'm pretty sure it's silver.
Is it silver? Okay. So we will have downtown getting their first LED, lead building. So, but I think that sustainability is very important to us in many, many ways. I think there are some initiatives that we are working on. You know, there are some things we are working on, and we're particularly looking at how we procure our power. For many of you that are there, we went out recently and we're now buying our own power literally off the market. And there are some opportunities to buy solar power that we're looking at that are cost competitive. So we will be looking at how to deal with energy. And this is system level as well. So these are system level issues. I know Katie's over there waving her red thing. I think we're done, aren't we? Maybe one more question, and then I think we need to probably leave. Everybody's smelling the food back there. So one more question, please.
So in our vision to rid ourselves of very tall, is there a way we can incorporate maybe a view for that area as well?
Wash your mouth out.
I want to say a word about that. Anything's starting with fountain is real.
Anybody who wants to build a fountain, come see us, and we'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, we looked at it, the only thing we're repairing it. We actually looked at everything because we were hoping that the damage that the fountain did with all the leaking that was going on, that was actually impacting the foundation of their
I can help.
So we can make an argument that, it didn't drive faster than it was, so, yeah. It's a good strategy. But yeah, fountains.
Well, maybe it's time to eat. No.
Good place to stop.